So, in our earlier video, we talked about the Formula 44, four elements of food habits, and the four elements of the exercise. And what we learned that we have an extremely hectic lifestyle, and it is so difficult to remember so many instructions and advices. So could we have some simple checklist? So Formula 44 is an answer to that. All we need to remember is that we have to implement four elements of food habits every day, and we have to implement four habits of exercise patterns every day. And we learned about one fistful of nuts, two helpings of fruits, 3 glasses of lukewarm water early in the morning on empty stomach, and the lunch and dinner should contain a good amount of vegetables and salads and lentils and beans and grains, etc. This will take care of the food. And when we talk about the exercises, the most important is to learn how to make the mind positive, peaceful, tranquil, placid, beautiful, positive. That is so important that no matter how many exercises we do, no matter how many breathing techniques we do, but if the mind is disturbed, if the mind isn't in a positive frame, the real benefits of those breathing techniques and exercises will not accrue. Even the real benefits of the food will not accrue if the mind is disturbed. And this is the moot point in the Formula 44. So in order of importance, if I have to share the most important point, that would be to watch the thoughts, watch the mind. And we should remember the famous advice, watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Watch your words, because your words become your actions. Watch your actions, because your actions become your habits. Watch your habits, because your habits become your character. And watch your character, because your character becomes your destiny. That is the importance of mind. Every thought that we are thinking is preparing our karma, is preparing our future. And that is why they say, you become what you think. So the thoughts are so important that if we can regulate our thoughts, if we can have a control over our thoughts, automatically we would have control on our food habits, we would have control on our exercise habits, we would have control over so many things. No wonder in Bhagavad Gita, this is the essence. No wonder in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna gives one and only one advice to Arjun. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manushmar yudhyacha. I think chapter 8, shloka 6 or 7. If the entire Bhagavad Gita is to be explained in half a verse, this is the verse. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manushmar yudhyacha. For ordinary people like us, the message is you do your duties as best as you can, but remember there is a supreme power. Remember there is a God which is controlling the entire creation, which is controlling us. That God is having three forms. In the form of Brahma, He is there in every atom of the universe. In the form of Paramatma, He is seated in our heart. and in the form of Bhagwan, he appears in this world as Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Parshuram, and he is known by various names: Allah, Sat Shri Akal, Khuda, Ahur Mazda, Shunya, Ram, Krishna, Shiv, Buddha, Ganesh, etc., etc. It's one God, but there is a variety. So, God is the creator, God is the sustainer, God is ultimately the destroyer of the universe, and the soul is a part of God. That is our real identity. So, in order to control our mind, we have to look at our spiritual side, because by normal techniques, we cannot get the success. We cannot keep God away, the supreme power away from all these and hope to achieve the peace and the tranquility, because that is the verdict. We need to find that peace and the happiness within, and that peace and the happiness is the synonym of God. So, why am I talking about this point? Because that point is so important to manage our mind. The mind cannot be managed otherwise. We may try, we may achieve some temporary success, but that will not be everlasting. So, in the Formula 44 today, we are talking about the most important element, which is the mind management. No doubt in chapter 6 in Bhagavad Gita, Arjun raises a question. When Sri Krishna talks to him about managing the mind, he says, Chanchalam hi manah kritsnam pramathi balvadridham tashyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Sri Krishna, you are telling me to control my mind, but controlling the mind is like holding the wind. So Arjun is telling it is like next to impossible. But Sri Krishna responds so beautifully in the next verse. He says, Asanshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. O Arjun, indeed, it is so difficult to control the mind. But he doesn't say that it is impossible. He says it is very, very difficult. He says durnigraham. He doesn't say anigraham. And he provides two formulas. One is detachment and another is practice. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. If we want to remain attached to everything in the world, unnecessary stuff, we want to read all the news elements, we want to have so many paraphernalia, we want to purchase so many goods which are not required. That means we are attached to the world so deeply that the mind will never come to the reality, the God. And that is the meaning of detachment. You use the world. We use the world for our real welfare. The world is not to be discarded, but the world is to be used for that inner peace, for obtaining that inner peace and for obtaining that inner bliss, which is God. So we need to attach our mind to God and we must learn about God. That is the way to succeed in controlling the mind. So, I thought I'll cover other elements of Formula 44, but the mind management is the most important. So, we will stop here. And though there are 8 elements in the Formula 44, 4 elements of food, which we talked about, 1 fistful of nuts, 2 helpings of fruits, 3 glasses of lukewarm water in the morning, and 4 helpings of vegetables, greens, salads, lentils, grains, beans, etc. And the 4 elements of exercise: 1 hour of meditation, 2 rounds of walk, 3 types of breathing techniques minimum, and 4 rounds of sun salutation, which is an indication of the exercises that we should do. But out of all these 8 elements, the mind management is the most important. We have to understand what is this mind. Let's learn more about the mind in the next video, because I don't want the video to be too long. So thank you so much. Hope your interest in mind management is building up, and let's explore more. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.